Hello Star Wars fans and Star Wars action figure fanatics! Steve back here with you, my friends. It is June 23rd, 2015, and I hope everybody's doing all well and good out there. First and foremost, as always, my friends, thank you so much for taking a little time to hang out with me as we take a look at some more Star Wars action figure goodness. Now, as for today's video, guys, we're going to take a closer look at the very cool, very new Emperor Palpatine from the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch line. One of my most favorite characters in the Star Wars universe, and quite honestly, a figure that I've been highly anticipating. And happy to say that Hasbro did a wonderful job with this guy. You do get a great likeness to the character, some awesome articulation, some decent accessories, and just overall just a very nice addition to anybody's Star Wars action figure collection, because you can always use a little evil in our lives. And I mean that with the best intentions possible, my friends, of course. Now, before we get into all that stuff, my friends, let's go and take a look at the packaging he comes in really quick. This is number 11 from the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch line. Now, it looks like Hasbro has offered us a slight change as far as packaging is concerned again. We're doing more of a universal packaging, I suppose, or a tri-logo packaging. We do have the Star Wars logo on the very bottom, of course, and we do have a nice portrait of the character right on front. And looks like we're doing more of the legal stuff on the side of the box now. And it looks like we're treated to a nice shot from Return of the Jedi, I do believe. And now we just have the character name in different languages on top. Before, there used to be a little synopsis or text about the character on the back of the packaging, but you know, it's all good, whatever, man. Of course, we do have the Disney and Hasbro logos on the very bottom as well. As far as the figure is concerned, my friends, this guy is an awesome addition. Very cool. I'm very happy with this guy. And, you know, for the most part, just an excellent figure. Now, Hasbro has given us some soft goods with the robe here. And, you know, it's always a hit or miss with soft goods, guys. You know, sometimes they're just oversized. They don't particularly sit well on the figure, especially with the 3 3/4 line. But, you know, surprisingly, Hasbro did a really wonderful job with the soft goods as far as this figure is concerned. It's fitted very nicely to the character, or the figure, I should say. You do have some stitching on the material itself. It is a very nice material. You know, not too flimsy, but very nice. Again, it is fitted to the figure very nicely. As you can see, it's not too big, not too small. Just looks really great. Also, they did add some stitching as far as the hood is concerned, so it makes the hood sit on the head here very nicely as well, which is really is a very nice plus, because you know, sometimes the hoods can be a little awkward, but looks like the slight stitching does make the world of difference as far as that is concerned. You do have a molded plastic clasp there right on front, which is just pops right off if you wish to remove the robe, which we're going to do so. So we can take a closer look at the figure on the inside. Now, it's pretty much a straight black mold here. No paint applications are applied as far as the robes are concerned, the inner robes anyway. But which brings me to my only major nitpick with this guy. The inner robes on the bottom of the figure are a molded plastic, which are sculpted very nicely, but I think, in my personal opinion, I probably would have preferred more soft goods on the inner robe. But, you know, nonetheless, still looks very nice. It doesn't detract from posability, because you do have the slit on the side here, so you can still get this guy in some very nice poses, even with the molded robes here. As we're going to take a close look at this very cool head sculpt here. You guys can judge for yourselves. I think, personally, this is a very nicely sculpted head sculpt. The eyes are scented very nicely and painted very nicely as well. You can get some quality textures as far as the skin is concerned. The hair is molded and textured very nicely as well. So, you know, in my personal opinion, they did a wonderful job as far as the likeness to the character. Very nice looking. You do get some quality articulation with this guy as well, my friends. You do have the ball hinged head here, of course. You do have ball joints on the arms. You do have the upper bicep swivel as well, which is a very nice plus. Of course, we'd have double joints on the elbows, very, very nice. You do have a swivel and a ball joint on the wrist there. A ball joint on the torso. You have ball joints on the legs there with the upper swivel thigh. Double joints on the knees, and of course we do have the rocker joints on the ankles, so a very nicely articulated figure. Very nicely done. Take a closer look at the legs there. Some nice textures and molding. Boots look very nice. Just overall, just a very, very nice addition to anybody's Star Wars action figure collection. You do get the cane accessory here, which is a nice touch. It seems to be molded very nicely. I only wish they could have added a few more accessories. Maybe some force lightning would have been awesome. But this is the only accessory you do get with the figure, which is a slight disappointment, but still, you know, still very cool nonetheless, I suppose. Again, I probably would have hoped for some force lightning or maybe a hologram feature or something like that. Would have been nice to add, but you know, still very cool, I suppose. So we'll get those rows back on there. Just an overall, a very nice addition to anybody's Star Wars action figure collection, my friends, and I really do mean that, because you cannot go wrong with adding the Emperor Cherry collection. A must-have, I must say. Very, very cool. Great likeness, great articulation, decent accessories, but you know, just overall a very nice figure, in my personal opinion. So until next time, my friends, thank you so much as always for watching. Hope you have a great day. Stay tuned, my friends. I do have plenty more Star Wars action figures to review for you coming right up. So until next time, happy hunting, and I will see you all very, very soon.